and we're going to continue on to the third series of the game. Miami's leading San Francisco 7-3. On the first drive, Joe Montana was picked off by Don McNeil. He returned it 46 yards for a touchdown. Miami kicked off. San Francisco got the ball after a pretty decent kickoff return and good field position, and Montana led them down the field, and they got stopped in the red zone, though, by the Dolphins and added a field goal, and it's 7-3 right now. So San Francisco is going to kick off to Miami. So we go to the Special Teams tab, cycle the numbers. The trajectory is 3, and the length is 2. When we look at the charts, we see that a trajectory number of 3 fits in here, and 2 fits in here, so it means subtract 2 from the kickoff number, closer back to the kickoff point. So Wersching had a kickoff number of 7. That means it's going to be fielded at the 9-yard line by the first returner. And for Miami, that is Fulton Walker, a pretty dangerous kick returner. His numbers are 13 and 14. And San Francisco has a cover rating of nothing as well. So it's going to be a rating range of 1 through 13. So let's cycle the numbers and see what he can do. All right, we see here that a return, this number does fit in within that range, and 16 is the yardage that's added to Fulton Walker's base yardage of 14, so it's a 30-yard return out to the 39. So again, Wersching didn't put much distance on the kick. It was taken at the 9, returned 30 yards out to the 39-yard line for Fulton Walker. So move the ball out to the 39, take 10 seconds off the clock, give Miami a first down, and let's assign a kick return down here to Fulton Walker of 30 yards. We can just click that 3 times. All right, so Miami's got the ball, first down and 10 on their own 39-yard line, and let's see if Dan Marino can get anything going. And let's have a look at our team here. And let's do a little dive play to Woody Bennett. Again, everything's pretty much in a base scenario here, so we can just work through some basic things. So let's call it dive left to Woody Bennett. So we click this tab, and this means that Dan Marino is trying to draw the defense off sides with a hard count. This number of 2 fits within his QB rating of 20, so right off the bat, San Francisco's a little bit anxious, and they jump off sides for a 5-yard penalty, and that's going to help out the Dolphins. Let's stick with the same play. Let's go dive left. It's snapped, and it calls for someone to provide run blocking. Well, the dive running lane is behind the center. That's Dwight Stevenson. Great year from Dwight Stevenson, one of the best centers of all time, and the block number is within his run rating there. And so the block is applied. We look at the run play level, and for Woody Bennett, that's the linebacker level. And since Dwight Stevenson provided the blocking but nothing more, as outlined in the instructions, well, Woody Bennett gets a gain of 6 yards, and that's going to be a first down. So 6 yards for Woody Bennett, and Miami has their first down of the game. So 6 yards for Bennett. All right, let's do a little bit of a play action intermediate out, and let's do it to Mark Duper on the right side of the formation. So we click pass, jump off sides. Does the right defensive end jump off sides? Dwayne Board, nope. Play action of 9. Does that fit in Dan Marino's play action fake number? Nope. So the play action fake didn't work. And San Francisco's in zone. And let's look here. The first individual player action calls for a pass rush. Well, it's calling on the right defensive end, and that's going to be Dwayne Board. It's a number of 8 here, and that fits within his pressure rating. So Dwayne Board is creating a pass rush on Miami. So the next thing we do here is we look to see if there's a sack, and if there's pressure, and if there is pressure, if Marino escapes from it. So that number is 5. So we look back. Dwayne Board has a sack rating of 2, so 5 is above that, so there isn't going to be a sack on the play. So it's going to be a check to see it is still within his pressure number. So that means he's applied enough pressure to force Dan Marino into a hurried throw. When you look over here, though, this QB hit number is very important. If it fits within Dwayne Board's QB hit rating, he's caused a hurried throw that's going to have 3 added to it because he applied a hit to Dan Marino. And yes, Dwayne Board has a QB hit number of 9. So he causes a hurried throw, he hits Dan Marino, and we're going to add 3 to this number here and check to see if it is still complete. So we look at Dan Marino's pressure throw number. It's 9. And since we're using the lower one because Dwayne Board did create pressure, so you use the lower numbers. And we see here that actually Dwayne Board was able to create a pass rush, even though he wasn't able to sack Dan Marino. He hits him, adding 3 to this number, just like it says in the instructions, and it actually caused the pass to be incomplete. So a good play by Dwayne Board. He gets all over Dan Marino, and it's incomplete, second down. So we go down here, and we give Dan Marino an incompletion. You can see there just how important defensive linemen can be. Dwayne Board gets pressure, he hits him, and it causes the pass, which would otherwise be complete, to be incomplete. So good play by Dwayne Board. Let's go ahead and run a slam right by Tony Nathan. On second down and 10, we see here that that's still in the full tendency. So let's do a slam right. Draw off sides. It came up again. It's very rare, but it came up again. So Dan Marino draws them off sides. San Francisco, another penalty. Bill Walsh isn't going to be happy about that. All right, since Dan Marino was able to get the 49ers to jump off sides and we're in a second down and 5 yards to go, that's a pretty advantageous time. Obviously, play action is available as it's showing here. So let's call it a play action pass. It's called play action intermediate pass to Mark Clayton on the inside. So we go back and we're going to have an intermediate play action intermediate inside pass to Mark Clayton. We hit the pass button. The first thing we do, we see that San Francisco is in a man defense with 2 deep safeties, so they're obviously going to be involved in the play. So this play action number, let's check it. It is within my Dan Marino's play action rating, so the play action fake works, which means that he freezes these safeties with the play action fake, and they're not going to be involved. And so play action a fake takes the safeties out of it, so there's no help opportunity for the free safety and the strong safety. So let's resolve the play as normal. Pass rush. This calls on the weak side linebacker to try and create a pass rush. Well, the weak side linebacker is Keena Turner. He has a pressure rating of 13. So 2 is obviously inside that, so he creates pressure on the Dolphins. Next we go here, right, because we need to find out what happens on the pressure play, and we see that it calls for Dan Marino to try and step up in the pocket. So Keena Turner creates a pass rush. 4 is within Dan Marino's pocket rating. He was sacked very little that season, so he has a pocket rating of 20. And so he does step up in the pocket, but we need to check to see if he is going to throw downfield. There's no check down visible here, or if he's just going to try and find someone working their way back to the ball. So when we look down here, let's say Marino is just in a normal mindset. Normal mindset, quarterbacks take the check downs when they're available. They also look to throw downfield when it's available to make bigger plays, but in order for that to happen, a few things have to take place. This number has to be within his QB rating, and it is. And it would be an inside pass, but since there is not a pass depth listed here, instead it's intentional grounding, since there's not a pass depth of intermediate, deep, or bomb listed there, that opportunity was not downfield. So instead, he looks to the yellow target to see if he can get to this receiver working his way back to the ball on a pressure pass. Well, the yellow target is Nat Moore, but since they're in a base, you just take if this person is not in the game, then you just slide it up to the next closest receiver. So that target is to Mark Clayton, and the initial play call was to Clayton, but since Keena Turner created a pass rush, Dan Marino had to step up in the pocket, and he does try and find Mark Clayton for a pressure pass. Well, let's see if it's completed. Since Marino dealt with the pressure, we use this higher number. 11 is within that range, so it's going to be completed. The only thing we need to check here is to see if this takes place. Who is Clayton's individual defender? It's Ronnie Lott. So perfect for this scenario. It calls for an intimidation drop. So if this number is within the defender's PBU number and his hit number, he causes the player through intimidation to drop the ball. So it would be otherwise a completion of 13 yards, but instead Ronnie Lott has intimidated Mark Clayton and he forces him into a drop. The only thing we need to check and see is if this number, which is within Ronnie Lott's opportunity for picking off a pass, if it's also within this number here, 1 through 20, is within Dan Marino's higher interception number, and it's not. So Ronnie Lott comes up, and he intimidates Mark Clayton into dropping the ball. Clayton hears some footsteps early on, and it's an incomplete pass. So third down. So Marino starts off 0 for 2, so we've got a third down and pretty manageable. It's a third down and 5, and we'll see now that the tendency by down and distance is pass for the offense. So let's go 3 wide this time and get Nat Moore onto the field, and let's go ahead and run an intermediate seam to Nat Moore. An intermediate seam. You'll see here now, play action is not available on third down and 5. So let's go just a normal intermediate seam route to Nat Moore. Click the pass button. The first IPA, since the snap happens normally, the first IPA calls for someone to create a pass rush. All right, and they are in nickel, so it's the nose tackle. And Michael Carter substitutes for Manu Tuiasosopo, as designated here with the red nose tackle, meaning nickel. And his pressure rating is 8. And this is above his pressure rating, so there is no pressure on Dan Marino. So we called for an intermediate seam to Nat Moore, and this IPA calls for him to get open at the intermediate level. He does, and now since he gets open, and we're going to find out if he's able to finish that pass play with a catch. So we see here that the zone area defender for a seam pass is the nickel back, and this PBU number is very high, so it's certainly not going to be in the nickelback's PBU rating, which is Mario Clark. It's above that, so he doesn't factor into the play. And this is within Nat Moore's intermediate range, but it's a red 4, which calls for us to check to see if he drops the pass. And he doesn't, so that pass is going to be complete. And we see here that it asks for us to check to see if Dan Marino is also able to lead him on the play. And if that fits it within Dan Marino's lead number, then he will. And it obviously does. And he hits Nat Moore for a gain of 11, and this number is within Marino's lead number, but not within Nat Moore's breakaway range, so he actually gets a little bit more on the play for a gain of 13 yards. So Miami is able to convert on third down and 5 with a pickup of 13. We see here, though, that this yellow QB is highlighted. Anytime that comes up, you look back to the pass rusher indicated, which is the nose tackle, and you're going to check to see here if this number fits within his penalty rating. Almost. It would have required 17 or higher, so no quarterback hit penalty on that play. So Marino hits Nat Moore for a gain of 13 yards, and Miami converts on third down. All right. So let's go back to a base package, and let's go ace actually this time, since Miami used that package quite a lot back then. And let's go ahead and run a slam right to Tony Nathan. So you click run, check the left wide receiver. That's above his penalty number down here. So there's no false start. That means that the ball is snapped, and the run play level for Tony Nathan is at the secondary level. And the individual player action calls for him to lower the shoulder and try and push forward for a little bit more. It calls for him to try and push forward for a little bit more. 20 is above his YAC rating, so we don't go any further than the defensive secondary level, which is still a nice little gain of 13 as we see here. But the special designation has popped up, push the pile. So Tony Nathan and the defender at that level, which is the defensive secondary, that's the free safety. After a gain of 13 yards, they get all piled up, and there's a chance that Tony Nathan and the Dolphins can kind of push the pile and pop him through for a little bit more. Stuff you see quite a lot. So let's look here. That means Tony Nathan and the free safety, Dwight Hicks, are going to enter into a push the pile matchup. Hicks has a tackle rating of 12. Tony Nathan has a YAC rating of 13. The difference is 1 in favor of the offensive player. We take that difference and add it to the middle, which is 10, and Nathan has a 1 through 11 range of trying to push the pile. When you look at these in-game matchup numbers to determine if it happens, you look down here, and this will tell you if he's able to do it. So not only does Tony Nathan get a nice little gain of 13, but he's able to push the pile, which means that someone came up and it's almost like a rugby scrum, and they push him forward just a little bit and bump him through to the next level, and it's a 21-yard gain. 21-yard gain. First and 10, Miami. they're in the red zone. Tony Nathan has a run of 21 yards. So they're 1st and 10 at the 11-yard line. So let's go back to base and let's call a dive left to Woody Bennett. We click the run button, the ball is snapped, and let's check the level. For Woody Bennett, that's a linebacker level, and it calls for someone at the linebacker level to try and come in and make a stop or a hit. Well, the left inside linebacker is the person that's going to be called on. That's Ricky Ellis, and that number 5 is within Ellis's tackle rating, but not his hit rating. He does make the stop on Woody Bennett, but he doesn't hit him with a solid hit. And the next thing we need to do is check to see if a fumble happens. These two numbers, the level number and this 1 through 10 number, have to agree. Either odd, they both have to be odd, or they both have to be even for a fumble to take place, just like it's outlined in the instructions. But since there is no fumble on the play, Ricky Ellison gets a stop at the linebacker level for a gain of 3. It would have been 7, but Ellison's able to get in and stop him for a gain of 3. So Woody Bennett picks up 3 on the play, 2nd down and 7. Let's look at Miami again, and Dan Johnson's the tight end. Why don't we hit him on a little quick inside? So we call for a pass play. Ooh, fumbled snap. Fumbled snap. This number here is what we check, and we look at Dan Marino, his lower number, and we see that it's only 1. So a fumbled snap does not occur on the play, and the ball is snapped. And now the first IP that pops up is an in-game matchup. This is an in-game matchup, so it's between the left tackle and the left defensive end. And since it's a quick pass play, the left tackle gets a bonus of 2. So that's 22 for Giesler, and the left defensive end is Jim Stuckey. He has a 7, so that's a huge difference. Jim Stuckey is not a pass rush specialist, so that's a huge difference. And we see here that 14 is within that. So the difference was 15 in favor of the Miami player. So there's no chance that Stuckey can make a play on Giesler in that one-on-one matchup, as Giesler clearly has the greater pass blocking ability. And so Dan Marino has the time. And then we see here that it calls for him to read the defense. That's within his number, so he does read the defense, and the next thing we need to do is see if the pass is complete. So on a quick pass, 19 is a very high number, and we see here that it is above Dan Marino's quick pass number, and so the pass is simply incomplete. 3rd down and 7. So Marino's only 1 for 4 for 13 yards. Let's go 3 wide again, and remember we are inside of the red zone and inside the 10-yard line. So when we visit the rules again really quick, since we're going to obviously call a pass play, if on this intermediate route that we're going to go ahead and call here, remember that we have to use the quarterback's deep route pass number on this kind of play. So let's call an intermediate out to Mark Clayton on the left side. And so we click the pass button, and formation penalty. That is within Marino's penalty. So there's going to be some sort of procedural penalty that takes place. Not a false start, but something that happens around the snap of the ball. So the play is still snapped. The first individual player action calls for a pass rush for the right defensive end. That's Dwayne Board. That is within his pressure rating. So Dwayne Board creates a pass rush. Then this IPA here calls for Dan Marino to try and step up in the pocket. He does. So he does have time to scan the field. And since the pass level is not indicated, he's going to try and hit the blue target for a pressure pass working back to the ball. So the blue target is Mark Duper, and let's check to see if the pass is complete. So we see here 8 is within Dan Marino's pressure rating, the higher one, since he was able to step up in the pocket, and Mark Duper's individual defender happens to be Eric Wright, and he has a PBU number of 7, which is very good. 9 is still above that. He's not able to break up the pass, and we see that the pressure pass is actually completed for 8 yards and a touchdown. Not only did they pick up the first down, but they got the touchdown as well, except for this penalty right here. And when we look at the penalties, a formation, there was an illegal formation that the referee detected at the snap of the ball, and so unfortunately for Miami, they're not able to get the touchdown, and they're going to be 3rd down and 12 from the 13-yard line. So a penalty takes the touchdown off the board for the Dolphins, and let's go to a third wide receiver set right here, and let's see if Nat Moore, who's really good around the red zone, let's see if we can hit him on an intermediate inside pass, since obviously 3rd down and 12 is quite a lot to gain inside the red zone. Click the pass button. The ball is snapped, and this calls for someone to provide pass blocking. The Dolphins had a great offensive line that year. It is the left guard, and we see here that, yes, Roy Foster is able to provide Marino with a lot of time, and with that time, Marino then, it's called on him to read the defense. Obviously he does. He has a QB number of 20. 9 is within that. And so he's going to go ahead and try and hit Nat Moore on that intermediate inside pass. Well, let's check to see if the pass is completed. Number 10 is within Dan Marino's deep, right? Since we're in the red zone, it's inside of his deep throw rating, so that pass is going to be complete unless the middle linebacker has a number and fits within the in-air ball defense IPA of cutting off the route. And let's see if he's able to do that. Well, the middle linebacker in a nickel defense, as seen here, the red tab tells you for middle linebacker that he is in the middle linebacker in a nickel defense. Ricky Ellison has a PBU number of 2. And that's not high enough to do anything to break up the pass. And San Francisco in zone defense, pass blocking has been provided. Marino has time to read the defense and scan the field, and he does hit Nat Moore for a gain of 20 yards. Touchdown. All right, so Miami's off to a really good start in the red zone. They get a touchdown. They convert on 3rd down. Obviously, a touchdown is a 1st down, and that's a 13-yard touchdown pass from Dan Marino to Nat Moore. Give the Dolphins 6 points, and they are up 13-3 right now on the San Francisco 49ers. We need to find out if the extra point is good. We go here, and we add the trajectory and the length together for a total of 19. That is within Uwe von Schauman's extra point rating, and he tacks on the extra point, and Miami is up now 14-3. And we give Uwe von Schauman another extra point made. And the Dolphins, by virtue of that early turnover, which was returned for a touchdown, are on top of the San Francisco 49ers 14-3.